Tina Brinkley Potts, and oh my God, I want to talk today about this whole book marketing thing, especially book sales, because like right now, this book is got a lot of controversy going on because it is actually on the New York Times bestseller, but yet many news outlets, especially I think it was the Daily Mail, is calling it a flop. Now, I wanted to talk about it because the thing that I know for sure is this is one of the things that drove me crazy when I was doing book marketing. I only do it for my clients now. Like you have to be in a program in order for me to market your book. I don't just do that anymore because it's nuts. But let me tell you, book marketing is a lot of smoke and mirrors. And you know, yeah, that's all I want to say about that. But let me tell you some things that you need to know. So, first off, I'm so grateful that I actually have a signed first copy of this book. Thank you. Thank you. It was a gift to me. And I want to tell you about book marketing because most people get this wrong. So, first and foremost, um, a lot of things happen behind the scenes to make you a best-selling author. And the easiest place to become a best-selling author is on Amazon. So when you talk about book marketing, people will talk about becoming a uh, bestseller on Amazon. That could be a category bestseller or an overall Amazon bestseller. You can put your book in, I think it defaults to maybe 2 or 3 categories, but you can add a lot more if you know what you're doing. And that's another video for another day. However, then it all rolls up to the top 100. So you could rank in the top 100 of Amazon, or you can rank in specific categories. Most people who talk about being a bestseller have ranked in a category. And that could even be for 1 hour, like not ranking for a long period of time. It could be for 1 hour. And it's a good thing in Amazon's mind. It's a good thing in my mind too, because if I want to get something, other eyes on something, I put it on Amazon, get it selling there first because of this little thing, which I have a video, you can go find it. It's called Customers Who Bought This Also Bought. That is a strategy that most of the internet runs on. So if I bought this book, Worthy, then it would say, okay, other customers who bought this book also bought these other things, and it would start showing you those other things too, because it's helping to get you to buy more because that's their job. So that's what I wanted to let you know about Amazon. After Amazon, then the next one is like going for like a Wall Street Journal bestseller. And then from there is a New York Times. Now, New York Times, Wall Street Journal is harder than Amazon. However, it's not impossible. And again, it has a few things that are slightly different than you need to do, and there are different outlets. Every place has their own outlets. So in this particular instance where people are talking about this book being down a little lower in the top 100, but yet it is in the top 10 of New York Times, it's because New York Times has a select amount of booksellers that it's tracking the book sales of those indie bookstores and bookstores around the world. And they're tracking this so that they can determine about the book sales. Now, if you wanted a consultant to help you get to the New York Times, it cost you a pretty penny. You know why? Because the exact formula isn't known, but there are people who do, and they are elusive, number one. But the most important thing I want to also let you know about New York Times is that you can pre-sell your book. And so if you put your book up for sale, and I think it's that you can do it for 8 weeks, it might be a little longer, but 8 weeks of sales count towards the first week. This is why you see a lot of people who will pre-sell this book, because the more sales they get, I've been eating candy, the more sales that they get, it literally goes to that first week of sales. And that helps get to the bestseller. But you have to know the right bookstores, and you have to, there's a lot of things that go into it. Now, there's a lot of people who you will see where it has a little asterisk next to it, and it says bulk sales, because New York Times started noticing, well, wait a minute, I think people are trying to game the system. And so they, you get somebody and they put them in, and it seems like all of the sales are coming from this one source, and they're realizing it really is a bulk sale. So instead of taking bestseller, New York Times bestseller away from some people, they actually just put an asterisk beside it and say bulk sales. Now, I know of several cases where they did not give those authors the title New York Times bestseller. Why is it a big deal? Because it adds a zero to your check, okay? When you step on the scene as a speaker, want to get booked for television or any of those things, and you have New York Times bestseller behind your name, it changes the ball game. So is it worth it? Yes. If that's what you're doing, but know the game, because everybody's talking a whole bunch of stuff, and it's funny how we just regurgitate what somebody else says. Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing. We just regurgitate what somebody else says instead of really knowing the truth. There is a lot when it comes to book sales and book marketing and this, that, and the other, and most things don't even have nothing to do with each other. You can make it to #1 on Amazon and never get to New York Times bestseller, and vice versa. So a lot of times people don't seem to understand that. If I'm a strategist and I'm not using Amazon in my marketing, right? Like if I'm not really looking to give business to Amazon. Now, I love giving business to Amazon, so I'm not even on front. But if I didn't want to give Amazon any more business, then I would just go to the indie stores, right? Pushing them to indie stores. This is where you see a lot of book signings happening, a lot of conversations, right? Like intimate conversations where you come in order to do it. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about book sales. I think it's gotten me all passionate because I'm working on a book for a client now, and the people around keep, with their little peanut gallery, not knowing what the hell they're talking about. And so I feel like I'm always got to counteract it and keep talking. And I really hate when I have to counteract with somebody saying who don't know what they're talking about, right? But I felt like that was the reason why we should talk about it today, because you really should know the truth, especially if you're an author and you're trying to launch your book. I'm not trying to sell you though, because book marketing is not my favorite thing, but I do help with book marketing for my clients. So, but you should know the truth, because the truth will set you free. And everything that people are saying right now, and especially about this particular woman and this particular book, it's funny, there's a lot of false narratives out there. There's a lot of things that aren't even in the book that everybody's all pissed off about. Like it wasn't in the book, never was in the book, but people assume, take one line and run with it, always taking things out of context. And definitely this book marketing thing is another thing that has been taken out of context. So that's my 2 cents. I wrote a whole article, you can read it. I wrote some articles back in 2016 or whatever about helping authors get to 7 figures around their book, helping, there's like 2 different blogs about it, still really good, still get really, really good traffic. to those blogs because it still works. So you can see those over on tinabrinkleypotts.com. See you later.